Let's be honest. Nobody wants hard times. Nobody wakes up saying, you know what? I love a little more pain today. But here's what I've learned through my own life, through coaching hundreds of executive leaders. Almost every good thing in life is preceded by challenge. Now, I know that's not a popular thing to say because somewhere along the way we start romanticizing struggle in a really unhealthy way. We've all met people who love to live in their pain, who wrap themselves in it like it's a blanket and say, why is this always happening to me? And if that's the story you tell yourself, then that becomes your reality because perception is reality. If you choose to see life as something happening to you, then that's exactly how you'll experience it. But there's another way to see it, a healthier, more empowering way. It's to acknowledge that while pain is real, challenge often precedes beauty. That's what I want to talk about today. I'm Alex D. Tremble, CEO of GPS Leadership Solutions, an industrial and organizational psychologist, executive coach, and best-selling author of Unlocking the Executive Advantage, Relationships That Work, and Leadership Sucks Sometimes. And in every one of those books, in every executive coaching relationship I've had, one truth keeps showing up. Growth rarely feels good while it's happening. But once you get to the other side, you realize that challenge wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Just a few days ago, I was having a conversation with my wife about this exact idea. We were both sitting there smiling at our son, Oka, who, if you know me, you know I absolutely adore and love me some Oka. He's a freaking amazing little dude, and I love him with every ounce of me. And I told her, you know, all good things in our life were preceded by challenge. Because the truth is, Oka wouldn't be here if we hadn't gone through our fertility journey. Some of you who've heard some about our story, it was a difficult journey, a long journey, a hard journey. It took us 5 years to have the little guy. We had to face heartbreak through the IVF process. If our daughter, who didn't make it had been born, Oka wouldn't be here. And saying that doesn't erase the pain. It doesn't mean it didn't hurt because it did. But it does mean that something beautiful grew from something devastating. And that's the uncomfortable truth that many people never make peace with. It's because it's easier to sit in the why does this happen to me than to acknowledge this pain eventually produced something good. It takes maturity and courage to look at your story and say, yes, that broke me for a while, but it also built something in me. I've never met a successful executive who hasn't been broken down by life at least once. Every single one of them has a story, has a loss, a betrayal, a failure, a moment when they thought, I'm done. And every single one of them can look back now and say, that was the moment that shaped me. Because that's how growth works. Pain strips away ego. Failure builds perspective. Discomfort stretches capacity. That doesn't mean we seek out pain, but it does mean we stop resenting it when it finds us. Now, I'll tell you something that might sound strange. I get excited when challenges show up now. Not because I enjoy the pain, but because I know what's on the other side. I know that when I'm uncomfortable, I'm in the middle of transformation. I know I'm collecting a story that's going to help someone else down the road. That's one of the unexpected blessings of hardship. Once you survive one, you gain evidence that you can survive the next. You don't just believe in resilience, you embody it. If you're listening to this right now, I know one thing for sure. You've already been through something hard. Maybe it was losing someone you love. Maybe it was being passed over for a promotion. Maybe it was a financial crisis, a health crisis, a health scare, a betrayal, or even just a season when life knocked the wind out of you. And yet, you're here. That's not optimism. That's data. That's fact. You've done hard things before, which means that you have the capacity to do it again. And that's why when executives tell me, Alex, I don't know if I can get through this, I remind them, you've already done it once. You've already proven that you can handle what you thought you couldn't handle. Every high level leader I've worked with has one defining story at least. The CEO or the COO who was laid off after 20 years and thought his career was over until the pain pushed him to start his own company that now employs hundreds. The federal executive who was demoted unfairly and humiliated publicly, only later to be promoted to a national leadership role because she learned how to lead with empathy and humility. The founder who nearly went bankrupt, who now teaches other entrepreneurs how to avoid the same mistake and build smarter. Every single one of them found purpose through pain. As I write true in my book, Leadership Sucks, sometimes the moments that stretch you the most, I'm so sorry. I'm just thinking about some stuff now. The moments that stretch you the most are the same ones that make you unbreakable. That's the paradox of leadership and life. You can't build strength without resistance. I want you to take a second and think about your own story. Think back to the last time you faced something truly hard. At a time when you didn't know how it was going to end. Now ask yourself, what came after that? What did you gain? Wisdom, perspective, courage, clarity that you didn't have before. Who did that version of you become? If you take an honest look, you'll see that every hard season has prepared you for something better. So, as we close, I want you to think about three things. What should you start doing to remind yourself that today's pain may be tomorrow's blessing? What should you stop doing that keeps you trapped in a victim mindset? What should you continue doing that helps you push forward even when life gets hard? Here's the truth. Life is going to test you over and over again. But every challenge carries a seed of growth if you choose to look for it. You've already proved that you can get through hard times. You're living proof of it. And the next time something difficult comes your way, I want you to pause and remember, you're not being punished. You're being prepared. As always, encourage you to stay strong, stay positive, and definitely stay moving. See ya.
Thanks for listening to The Executive Appeal with Alex Tremble. I invite you to follow The Executive Appeal wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow me, your host, Alex Tremble, across all socials or via email for exclusive webinars, courses, and in speaking engagements on continued topics of executive leadership. So until next time, stay strong, stay positive, and definitely stay moving.